Hey guys, good evening. Here's a little food for thought. We'll change the whole video topic from what we've been talking about the past few months. Did you know that the where the word lunatic came from? I did not know this until I was watching Little House on the Prairie a couple days ago, and the teacher, I think her name is Miss Beadle. The names that they put on those shows are like hilarious, but I think it was Miss Beadle. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was they were studying something about the moon, and she was saying that the word lunatic came from Luna, so like the moon. Now, if any of you all are sensitive to the moon like I am, I always know when there's a full moon. I don't even have to look at the calendar. I don't have to look outside. Like, I just see how people are like behaving, how people in traffic are, or just out in the world. You know, you go into the stores, even family members, your spouse, your family, and people are like snapping at each other. People are honking at you on the street and like flipping you off and stuff. Everybody's grumpy. It's because of the moon, all the different phases that the moon goes through, and it really affects people. Now, if you tell people, certain people, like how the moon literally brings out the anger and the ugliness in people, like, people don't believe it unless you are really in tune with the moon. Yeah, like I'm one of those people who I believe in stuff like that. I believe in spirits. I believe in ghosts. Something happens in the house, like something falls over, or it's just like something that's inexplainable to where you didn't do it, especially if you're home alone or you live alone and like something just flips over or a light turns on. Yeah. um, it could be a spirit. And if you don't feel scared, like if you don't get like the chills and have like a creepy feeling, then you know it's not a bad spirit. But you have to constantly be cleansing your home, praying through your home, rebuking, and just do a sweep through your home. Open up the doors and the windows and just let all that, do your little mantra, your prayer, whatever it is, to cleanse your home and get all those negative energies out. But how many of you are affected by the moon, by the full moon? When I was a little girl, I used to be afraid of the moon. It's so crazy because I'm like so into the moon now. Not like I'm like every day into the moon, but like I've always been into the moon and the moon cycles and just watching people and interacting with people, because I've always been in the corporate world. So I've always had, like, I worked for social services, so I had like a caseload from 300 to 700 and some clients, and just all the different walks of life, coming in, and different, you know, different races, different like life situations, different financial statuses and stuff like that. And like I dealt with some pretty crazy people, but my clients loved me. My clients loved me. They always said, wow, like you're so cool. Like all these other ladies here are just so hateful. And I know, because I dealt with, at one point, way back when my kids were babies, and I had to get some assistance because their father was a piece of crap. Like the ladies, I remember being really mean and just judgmental, and half of them got off of welfare and started working for social services. So like I never judged anybody. I always told my clients, like, you know what, I will go sit on the other side of the desk with you if it'll make you feel comfortable, because I don't want to make you feel like I'm judging you, because there is that when you're sitting on the opposite side of the desk and you're there asking for help, and you got somebody, okay, well, where's the dad? And are you sure he's not in the home? Well, how are you? Then how'd you just have a baby? Why do you have a baby 2 months old but you don't know where the dad is? Like, you ask questions like you're supposed to for your job, but you don't sit there and judge people, because life is hard. And even if you do have a father in the picture, like, it doesn't mean that he's providing and that, he's a good father. But that's totally off subject. Basically, I was just trying to say that, like, when there was a full moon, I always knew, based on how people at work would act, or, just people in general. But I just thought that was really cool to find out that the word lunatic, where it derived from, and it makes sense, because it talks about mental illness. It even talks about, like, back in the, like, biblical days, like in the 1600s, I think, 1800s, it talked about, like, in the book of Matthew 17, I think, 14 through 20, something like that. And it talks about the word lunatic, T-I-C-K, I think it was. But anyhow, basically what it was saying was that it was mental illness, and it was also epilepsy. And I think there was just, like, I don't want to misquote it, but I think they were saying something to the effect that, like, epilepsy was considered, like, one of the illnesses. But I don't think epilepsy is a mental illness. So I don't think there's any facts behind that. So I wouldn't go with that theory. But anyway, I just thought it was cool that lunatic, all these crazy people that we're dealing with, the narcissists, the toxic people in our lives, they are definitely lunatics. And I wouldn't even say that they came from something as beautiful as the moon. But to know that people's moods are affected by the moon, and crazy people are just crazy. Narcissists are just crazy people who were stunted at a very young age because of whatever traumas happened to them. And you got to feel bad to some degree for them, because, if you were traumatized at, 10 years old or something, abused or molested or something, and that really caused damage to where you're this mean, damaging narcissist today in society, is horrible. So December 27th was the full moon, and it was the winter moon. So there's still some energy going around. If you look at the moon, it's still pretty full. And just notice when there's a full moon, like, look at the cycles and see if you're feeling weird, you're in a bad mood, you're everybody's snapping at each other. People out in the stores are the cashier's hateful, like, look it up and see if there's a full moon, and chances are there is. But yeah, it's pretty crazy that the word lunatic came from the moon. And I found that out by watching Little House in the Prairie. Very lighthearted TV. It's one of my favorite shows when I'm feeling, like, depressed or overwhelmed, overstimulated from the holidays and crazy people and narcissists and abuse and all that. There's nothing better than watching some lighthearted TV to really calm your spirit, calm your energy. And yeah, so all those crazy people in your life that are coming in like werewolves, chances are there's a full moon. And if there's not a full moon, then you know that they're just crazy on a regular basis. Don't drink their Kool-Aid. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, you guys, because then you'll be like them. We don't want to be like them.